to show you how to shave properly. First, I do a quick dry.
Hi, Ellen. Yes, I've had a lovely week, thank you. Have you? Okay, right, let's see. I can see Alison. Hi, Alison, are you okay? Rosemary, good morning from Florida. Hope you were doing well. Sue, hello. Rachel, hi, can see. You should be looking at my desk. Hi, Ted, happy Sunday to you. Hi, Debbie, Bernie. Alison, what's happened to our UK weather? I know, it's windy and grey. Not rained, I don't think, today. Can't remember. Corinne, Marcia. You've had rain this week, which you needed. Is it JD? Claudia from Brazil, hi. Linda from Niagara, I can't even say it, Niagara Falls, New York. Ellen, Karen, hi Karen, hope you're okay. Charlotte, hi all and belated birthday. Oh, thank you. It was, when was it? It was the 24th. I think that was that Thursday? Oh dear, I can't remember. And it's Hannah's on Wednesday. We're 6 days apart. So hi Face, Katie, Sue, Catherine from North Carolina. So can you all hear me? Let's get rid of that. I think I've caught up with everybody now. I'll wait a few more minutes before I start because it literally only is 5:05. Hi Lynn. 35 in the Costa Blanca. Wow, I'm definitely in the wrong place. Oh, thank you, Ted. Yes, you can hear me fine, Marcia. Oh, lovely, thank you. Alison D. Blooming football. It's taking over large screen TV. Oh, well, craft room TV. Oh, happy birthday to you both. Oh, thanks, Alison. Julie from Barnsley. Hi. Ted can hear me. Yes, you're saying now. Hi from Stuart, Florida. Loud and clear, Karen's saying. Loud and clear. Yeah, can hear. Brilliant. So you can all hear me. That's good. Okay, so today I thought I would show you. I'm not sure how well you're going to see this. It's stood up at the moment, but yes, I can hear. Yeah, okay, that's great. I'm just getting some delayed comments. Okay, so Canvas Workspace for computer. Hi Barbara, hope you're okay. Sunny Cumbria, can hear me fine, Denise is saying. Okay, right, well, I'll give it a few more minutes before I actually go over to my computer, but Canvas Workspace for computer is what I'm going to use for today's project. It's a simple little project. It's a card all done in Canvas Workspace, and when you open it, it's got this kind of little pop out, and I've just put, this was a stamped flower and some leaves I had in a basket on my desk. So I've just dangled that from there, and I've just put a little bit of designer series paper just on the inside. I mean, I've not decorated the front or anything. I just kind of wanted to show you the concept. That looks like a Vulcan aeroplane. Oh God, Lois. You kill me. Right, okay, so maybe I should call it How to Make a Vulcan Aeroplane instead of How to Make a Pop-Out Aperture Card, which is what I think I titled the video. Excuse me. Betty's saying, hi Ashley, so glad to be able to catch a live. Usually watch recordings from Pennsylvania. Okay, well, you're welcome, Betty. I'm not sure what the time difference is, but here in the UK it's 5 p.m. Sunday evening. That's the time I usually always go live on my live streams. Ted's saying Vulcan bird of prey. And here's me thinking I came up with, you know, a cute little pop-out aperture, and you're all telling me now it looks like an aeroplane or a flipping bird of prey. Oh, dear me. Oh, so pretty, gorgeous pink papers. Look, you're backtracking now, Alison. Excuse me. So Face is saying they call this a tunnel card. Okay, well, I didn't know that. I have actually made cards like this in the past, but I don't think I've ever done one for the ScanNCut. Yes, Karen, it's the, oh, I've forgotten its name. Artistically inked. That's what this paper is. I love it. I think every single piece of this paper is lovely. And for any of you that don't know, I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK, but I know that there are some of you on here in other parts of the world that do use Stampin' Up products. So yeah, I think it's called Artistically Inked. It's 12 by 12. Obviously our designer series paper is, Alison, it's okay. Our designer series paper is all double-sided, and one side of this paper has got gold, like a gold foil running through it, and then the other side is like a flat colour. So that's literally, I just grabbed 2 bits just to put on the inside. So I didn't know it was called a tunnel card, so that's thank you for telling me. I might change the heading on the live stream then to call it a tunnel card, and then more people might know what, if they're looking for that type of card. So that's worth knowing. And Karen's saying yes, it is artistically inked. Okay, I've got the stamp set on my desk, but it's under a pile of stuff. I've got a card kit that I'm hoping to try and do a live with tomorrow, so I've got some stamps lined up on my desk and some dies which I've been using this week, and then I've got a card kit piled on top of it, and the papers kind of filed away behind me. Yeah, Barbara, they are beautiful, aren't they? I love the Stampin' Up papers, and this particular paper is lovely. And I know we tend to buy papers and we hoard them and we don't use them, but they really do need using. So I am going to be using more of this paper in future projects. So now we know this is called a tunnel card, I'm going to show you how to make it in Canvas Workspace for computer. You can make it in Canvas Workspace online, but the reason that I'm using the computer version is because I can use the X and Y coordinates, and I can position my dashed fold lines more accurately in the computer-based version. So I'm going to leave that one just on my desk for now. I'm going to pop you over to my Canvas Workspace screen, and I'm going to move everything over to my other desk. So you're just going to have to bear with me a minute and hope that I don't knock anything off or cut us off or whatever while I'm moving. So just bear with me a minute while I make a little bit of space on this other desk. And I just need to bring over my other phone, which is where I read all your comments. So Ted is saying, imagine those little LED lights they sell where you can put inside the card. Yeah. Hi Mary, hope you're okay. Mary's saying, hi Ashley, lovely day here in Loch Lomond, but a bit clammy. Okay, well it's not clammy here, it's literally cool, and there's a breeze, but Loch Lomond sounds lovely, Mary. Bernie is saying, I've seen these called pop-out cards by some companies. Yeah, I think that's what I put in my title, pop-out aperture card or something like that. But I'll Google tunnel card later and see if this kind of thing pops up, and then if it does, I may just adjust my title on YouTube. We call it Aperture in New York. Okay, so we kind of getting a mixture of names for the card, aren't we? So, okay, I'm looking at my phone and I'm looking at my iPad and I can see Canvas Workspace on my screen. So I'm assuming that you all can as well. Caroline is saying, hi Ashley and gang, so happy to see you. It's crazy hot in Canada. Wow. They call the cards with several layers Aperture tunnel cards. Okay. I call it a pop-out aperture. Think a tunnel card in UK is something different. Okay. Right, well, whatever it's called, that's what we're making. So just let me know that you can definitely see my Canvas Workspace screen. It's actually quite easy to make, and obviously you can put whatever shape you want in the middle. I used a circle for that one, but we'll do a different. Karen's saying yes. Hi Vicky, hope you're okay. I've been meaning to try to figure out how to do something like this. Right, well, hopefully Vicky, this will help you out. So Karen's saying yes, so I assume that's you're saying yes, that you can see my screen. Right, so first of all, let me explain. I cut my card and everyone's saying yes, I think now, can see computer fine, fab. Oh, thank you. Right, so I cut my outer card and that aperture piece both on the ScanNCut machine and both from a piece of UK A4 cardstock. So just as a reminder, okay, everyone's saying they can see it now. Vulcan Aperture tunnel card. Warm and dry in Manitoba. Okay, so we've got some varying weather conditions around the world with us today. Bernie, I know. Listen, what is she like? I've lost my train of thought now. Oh, dearie me. Oh yeah, A4. Okay, so UK A4 card is 8 1/4 inches wide. So if you think of it in portrait, so you know, long ways rather than across. Okay, so it's 8 1/4 wide and it's 11.75 inches long. US A4 card is 8 1/2 wide, so slightly wider. 8 1/2 by 11, isn't it? But only 11 inches tall, so you're like 3/4 of an inch less in height than us, but 1/4 of an inch wider. So, and the reason I'm saying that is that's how I came up with my measurements, so that I could put a piece of UK A4 card in portrait on my mat and cut my card base and my inner piece. So anybody that uses US A4, and I don't know who else uses 8 1/2 by 11, but if there are any other countries that do, you might just have to adjust your size slightly from what I'm going to show today, okay? But hopefully if you see me do it, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. So Rachel's saying, looks like I'm going to try and make this card on the online version for my birthday. Okay, you can do it in the online version. It's just in the computer-based version, Rachel, it's more accurate to set your dashed fold lines because you can use the X and Y. So I've just seen a question. Julie's saying, can I ask a question? Where on the download version of ScanNCut do I change millimetre measurements to inches? Okay, you go to the art board from memory. So let me just have a look. Yeah, so Julie, once you've got the download version open, go to the fifth icon down on the right hand side, which hopefully you can see my mouse hovering over here, and it says it's called the art board. And once you click on that, if you come down to where it says ruler, and then it says, on mine it says inches because that's what I work in, if you select the up or downward arrow you can change it to millimeters. Okay, so I hope that answers that. Definitely Canada does. 8.5 by 11 that is. Okay, so you use 8.5 by 11 like the US, okay, and we use 8.25 by 11 3/4. So you may just have to either slightly adjust your size or cut it from two separate pieces or cut it from 12 by 12. So Teddy's saying, no, we US people are probably the only folks who refuse to use metric system. Drives me crazy at times. My students learn metric much easier than American standard. Face is saying, check Sam from Crafter's Companion. She has great ideas. Maria's saying, overcast in Caerphilly. Sorry I'm late. I've not really started yet, Maria. I've just been showing you the card that I'm going to be making. And Julie is saying, thank you so much. Okay, right. So let's crack on because we're 16 minutes in and I've only literally just got Canvas open. So I am going to come over to the rectangles and choose a rectangle. And this rectangle is going to be my base card. So I need to make my base card 8 inches wide by 5.5 inches high, so that when I fold it in half it will be 4 inches by 5.5. Okay, so I'm going to come over to the edit icon, which is the second down on the right hand side. I'm in, yeah, I can only use inches as well. It's mad, isn't it? I think, I don't know, maybe it's just how we were brought up or what age we are. We tend to lean to one more than the other. Right, I'm going to come to the edit icon. I'm going to untick maintain aspect ratio because I want to size this rectangle independently. So I want to make it 8 inches wide, so I'm going to choose 8 and hit enter. And then on the height, I'm going to make it 5.5, so 5.5. So this forms my base card, so the outer element of the card. I'm going to come over to the left-hand side now. Julie's saying done it, great. Vicky, you can change in both places on offline version. Yeah, you can use millimeters or inches in both versions. Yeah, there's always different ways to change it. I use the artboard, but again, if you're in the download version, I think you can change it from up here somewhere. Is it display or something like that? I can't remember. Anyway, let's crack on. So I'm going to come over to the path icon and left click to select it, and then I'm just going to left click once somewhere on my page, and then I'm letting go of my mouse. Now I think this bit confuses people as well, how to drag a straight line out. If you left click and you keep your mouse pressed down, when you drag it down, in fact, let me start again and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to come to the path icon, I'm going to left click and then drag. And now it's not done it for some reason here, but in the online version, it kind of makes the line from the centre out, and that's not what you want. So what I normally do is left click on the path tool, then left click once anywhere on the page just to kind of anchor the first node, and then I take my hand off the mouse completely at this stage. Then I press the shift key down on my keyboard, which is like the upward facing arrow, which is normally a key on the left of your keyboard, and then I go back to the mouse and I don't press anything, but I drag the mouse down, and by holding the shift key down on my keyboard, that makes this line perfectly straight. It won't move from side to side. You can see I'm moving my mouse, but this line isn't moving. And then I just left double click to anchor it, and that gives me a perfectly straight line. You say, I've just seen, is it Mary saying, sounds like the song, you say tomato, I say tomato. So with this line selected now, I'm going to come up to the top where the line is here, and I'm going to click the arrow and I'm going to change it to one of the dashed patterns. Now for the card I've just shown you at the start of the live, I used this third one down in Canvas Workspace for Computer. So I just left click, and then if I click anywhere off the page, you'll see that's now a dashed line. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to come over to the edit icon, and in the height, I'm going to change it to 5.5. And then that way I know it's the exact same height as this card. Okay. I'm just going to select both now by just dragging my mouse across both. And while I'm still on the edit icon, I'm going to come down where it says align, and I'm going to center that dash line in the middle of my card on the horizontal and the vertical. So I'm just going to go left click on the center and left click on the middle. And then when I click away, you'll see now that my dashed line, which will become the fold line for my card, is now directly in the middle of this base card. So I'm going to select everything, right click, and make that a group, and that's the base card. Right, Chris is saying, I found out what I wanted to know about scanning and cutting position adjustment. It does it automatic. I have only done it on the CM900, new to the SDX. Okay. And Julie is saying wow for some reason, but I'm not sure why. So anyway, we'll crack on. So that's the base card. That's the outer card that's going to fold in half and be 4 by 5.5. Now I want to make the middle bit. So I'm going to come back over to my shapes, and I'm going to, I can use a square or a rectangle. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to resize this. So for this one, I know I need to make it 5.5 inches tall because I want it to be the same height as my base card. But for the inside, I'm only going to make it 5 inches. And I'll explain how I came up with that. But first of all, I'm going to resize it. So with this rectangle selected, I'm making sure that I'm still on the edit icon. I've got maintain aspect ratio unticked because I want to size these independently. I'm going to make the width 5. So I'm going to type 5 in the box and hit enter. And then on the height, I'm going to make it 5.5 and hit enter. So the height of this section now, which will become my pop-out aperture, is the height of my card, but it's 5 inches wide. And the reason I made it 5 inches wide is because when this card is folded in half, it's 4 inches wide, and then I'm allowing myself a 1/2 inch on either side for another fold line, which is going to become my glue tabs, which are going to stick this section into the middle of this card, and it will all make sense once it's cut. Okay, so to help me position my dashed fold lines and my aperture, I'm now going to position this 5 by 5.5 rectangle exactly in the top left hand corner of this screen mat. And to do that, I'm still on edit, and where it says position and size under X and Y, I'm going to highlight each box and I'm going to type a 0 and hit enter. Now in the Y, you can see it's took it now, it's moved it right over to the edge. And when I go into the Y, sorry, in the X, in the 0, it's brought it right over to the left. and in the Y, when I type 0 and enter, it's going to take it up to the top. So the top corner of this rectangle is going to be anchored in the top corner of my mat. Okay, and this is why I'm using the download version, because I can use the XY coordinates to help me position everything so that my fold lines and are going to all line up. Okay, so this is going to be the inner section. So the first thing I'm going to do now is come back to the path tool and select the path icon, and I'm going to left click and let go, then press my shift key down, drag my line out, and then left double click to anchor it. With that line selected, I'm going to make it a dash line again, and I'm just going to use the same dash line as I used on the base card. Then I'm going to come over to the edit icon and I'm going to change the height to 5.5, so I know it's the same height as this rectangular section. Now I want to position it at 1/2 inch from the left hand edge, so it lines up top and bottom. So with it selected, I'm going to come back to the X and Y positioning. So this is all done under the edit icon. I'm going to, under the X, I'm going to type 0.5 and hit enter, and you can see it's moved it now to 1/2 inch from the edge of this rectangle. And then under the Y, I'm going to position it at the 0, which will line it directly up on the top. So is everybody with me so far? So Bernie's saying I use the XY position all the time with almost everything I make. So useful. It definitely is, and I really wish they would put it into the online version. So, you know, as you all know, I tend to lean to the online version, and I'm asked when do I use the downloadable version, and I always say I use it when I want to use a font of my own that's on my computer, or when I want to use the X and Y positioning. And this you know, project today is, in my opinion, in need of the XY position, and that's why I chose to use the download. So this is now positioned at 1/2 inch from the left hand edge of this rectangle, and it's positioned so it lines up top and bottom because I set it at 5.5 inches high, which is the height of the rectangle, and I've already set it as a dash line. So with it still selected, if I now come to the layers panel and come down to the bottom and hit the box that's got the plus, that will create me a duplicate. So now I want to position this dash line now at 4.5 inches, because I want a dash line effectively at 1/2 inch from the left and the right hand side of this rectangle. So I've got my duplicate. I'm going to go back to edit, and I'm going to come back to the X and Y. So now under the X, I'm going to type 4.5. That's going to scoot it over. And under the Y, I'm going to type 0. So I've now got my 2 fold lines, which become my glue tabs for when I stick this in this outer base card. Thanks, did not know about 0 XY position. Okay. I tend to use the online version. Yeah, me too, Maria. I use the online all the time, but as I say, there are, you know, a few occasions when I use the download, and for things like this is one of the reasons I do use it. Lynn's saying I only ever use the offline version because of the design accuracy. I forget to use X and Y, makes life so much easier. Definitely does. Julie is saying I did wonder what X and Y was for. I'm new to ScanNCut. Well, there you go, Julie. So now you know. Can you do this on your machine? Don't think we can use the X and Y. Thank you. I wondered why I couldn't find it in the desktop version. Okay, that's fine. Right, so we've got the inner portion with the 2 fold lines. So now it's a case of just deciding what shape to use. So I'm going to come back to the shape. So like I say, on my other one, I used a circle. So let's try, Ted's saying, yes, makes sense. I hadn't used the X and Y feature before. Okay, so we're going to use a different shape now. So should we try, what should we do? Should we do a heart? Should we do one of the shapes under the polygon? Hi Alice, don't worry, it's fine. It should be being recorded, so you can always go back and watch it later. What other shapes have we got? We could do a star, but if you want something to dangle in the middle of your aperture, Barbara's saying a heart. Okay, so if you want something to dangle in the middle of your aperture, you need to make something that's going to give you enough space. A star might not, but what you could do, you could use a star for the aperture and then cut a smaller star and have that as your dangle, but we'll use the heart. So I'm going to select just the regular heart. I'm just going to drag it down here so you can see it. Donna's saying, hello, just joining, slept through 15 minutes of my alarm. I'm glad to learn how to create this card in Canvas Workspace. Charlotte's saying, how about a star? Bernie's saying scallop rectangle. We'll do another one. We'll do this one and then we'll do another one. We might not cut both, but we'll do this, we'll cut it, and then we can always have a recap, because I want to show you something else as well, which is going to be an easy way to just use this as a template, and then you can change out the aperture for whatever you want. So now again, because the front of my card was 4 inches wide, when I made my circle, I made it 2.5 inches. So again, you can play about with what size you want. So for this one, I think what we'll do, we'll go to edit and we'll make it 2.5 inches wide, and I'll tick maintain aspect ratio, and it looks as though it's symmetrical, so it's 2.5 inches high as well. But sometimes you might use a shape, you know, maybe like an oval that's taller than wider. 2.5 seems to be in width a good size. You've still got enough card on either side before the fold lines. You might be able to go a little bit bigger. We'll have a look when we go back over to my other desk, but for now we'll do a heart, and I made it 2.5 inches. So I want to center the heart now in this element. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this rectangle with the dash lines, and I'm just going to make it a group for now. Then I'm going to position the heart roughly in the middle, select both, and then use the align, center and center. So I know that that heart now is in the middle of this rectangular piece. Now you need to put your dashed line in for the middle, and you can either put one complete dash line that just goes right the way through, but obviously when it's cutting, it will dash into your card here, but it will dash into your mat here because there's ignore me. If you put a dash line all the way through, it will dash into this bit, which is you'll remove, if that makes sense. So you can just put one. What I'm trying to basically say is you can either put one complete dash line in, or you can put one in on the top element and one on the bottom. I am going to put one in for now, but then I'm going to adjust it. So I'm going to choose the path icon again, left click, let go, press the shift key down, drag my mouse down, and then left double click to anchor it. I'm going to change it up here to the same dash line. Under the edit icon, I'm going to make it 5.5 inches high. That doesn't look right, does it? That doesn't look 5.5. Oh, let's do it again. So 5.5, and enter. That's better. And then I'm going to center this directly in the middle of this section. So I know this is 5 inches wide. So on the X, I want to position it at 2.5 and on the Y at 0. Okay. And then I'm just going to left click anywhere on the page to deselect. So you can either leave the dash line that goes through the middle completely full, because it will dash over your card, but then obviously when this cuts out, you'll have a heart with a fold line in the middle, which you could probably use on another card. Or you can have 2 dash lines, it's entirely up to you. So that's how to do one. I'm going to go to my layers panel, select this dash line I've just put in, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag it down just so it comes to the bottom of the heart and show you the alternative way. So I've made it shorter. With it still selected, I'm going to click the duplicate in the bottom right hand corner under the layers panel, and then this one I'm going to position at the top. So I'm going to come back to the edit icon. I'm going to position it at 2.5 inches because that's in the middle of this 5 inch rectangle. And then on the Y, I'm going to position it at 0. And then while it's still selected, I'm just going to drag it down. So I've now just got a dash line that's at the top and the bottom. So you can do it either way, it doesn't matter. Right, so let's see what's going on. So we've got a heart, yeah, I've got that. Somebody said a star or a rectangle, diamond for a wedding card. Yeah, you can use anything. Polygon, diamond, it might be better for cutting to create the dash line before creating the heart, so it will cut first. Yeah, you could do it either way, Vicky. You could go to your layers panel and you can adjust how you want it to cut or how you want it to dash. That's entirely up to you. So now I've got the 2 elements that make up this card. So it really is simple. So I'm going to select all this and I'm just going to bring it down to the bottom. And I'm going to bring the card back over. And I'm positioning them both near to the left hand edge, because like I said, I would be using a piece of UK A4, which is only 8 1/4 wide, and this is 8 inches wide. So it's going to be a tight fit on my piece of A4. So I'll probably still have to do a background scan and line it up when it gets to the machine. But at least if I position it here for now, then I know I've not got to move it a lot when I get this file over to the machine. So this is another thing now that sometimes confuses people when you are using the download version. How do you save? So in the download version, you can save it as a working file, which is a CWPRJ, basically Canvas Workspace project file, or an FCM, which is the proprietary cutting file. So if I come up to the top of the page and go to File and come down to Save As, my dialog box will open and I can give this file a name and save it, and it will save it as the Canvas Workspace proprietary file initially. So we'll do that, and then we'll save it as an FCM as well, so you can see how to do that. But then I'm also just going to send it wirelessly over to the machine. So we'll call it Heart Pop Out. I've already got the desktop selected as my kind of default, if you like. So once I've got the name and where it's going to save, I'm okay to just hit save, and that will put this working file on my desktop. Now, if you want a ScanNCut FCM, a proprietary cutting file as well, then if you come up to File and come to Export/Transfer FCM, here you can export it as an FCM. So if I select that, again now it will ask me where do you want to save it. Because the last thing I've just saved was saved as Heart Pop Out, and desktop is showing as the default, I'm going to click save, and this time that file will save as an FCM file. So if I drag this in, not sure how well you'll see it, but this is the FCM and this is the Canvas Workspace project file. So that's two ways of saving in the download version. I can see a comment, I'm going to come back to it in a minute. But now I'm going to send this over wirelessly to my ScanNCut machine. Then I'm going to transfer desks and we're going to cut it, but then I'm going to come back and we'll use a different shape. So I'm going to come up to File again. Sorry, I need to make sure I've got Canvas Workspace selected. I come to File. I'm going to come down to Export. This time I'm going to use Transfer FCM file via the internet. And that's sent the file over wirelessly to my ScanNCut machine. So now I can say OK. Right, before I move desks, let me come back and see what we're saying. Could you draw a complete dash line? Select the heart in this case and the line and divide. I think that's how I did some flip cards. Could you draw a complete dash line? Select the heart. Yes. Or you could draw. You could use the cut line as the heart, and then put a square over it, over halfway, and hit subtract. So you're left with heart, or divide, so that you're left with half a heart. Then you could do it that way. I've shown how to do that, Charlotte, in another video. I can't remember which one, but I know I've shown how to do that. Oh, and Bernie's saying yes, you can. For an extra idea, the heart cut out, put tabs on the heart so it's inside, not dangling. Yes, yep. I'm just giving you, as I always, say when I do these projects, I kind of come up with a project and do it the way I've done it, but then you guys come up with, alternate ways or alternate adjustments. So yeah, I wonder, is there a way to save a file as an SVG to share with friends who might not have a ScanNCut? Ted, what you would do, you would save it as an FCM like I've just shown you, and then let's think, how would you do it? You can open an SVG, can't you? But you can't save as an SVG. I think there's a program online that you can convert with. I'm just trying to read the other comments now, sorry. Lynn's saying thank you. Is that on a website where I download it? Oh, Lynn, I've just seen you've put the comment, haven't you? You need a piece of software to convert from FCM to SVG. It's free. It's a free piece of software, 10 free conversions per day, or you can buy more. There you go then, Ted. So there's your answer. Right, what am I doing? I'm going to swap desks. So bear with me a minute while I move all my stuff over. And then if there are any other comments, I'll try and answer them in a minute. So just bear with me. I just need to bring my water over. Right, so let's come back to we should be seeing, in fact, no, let's come to my desk. We'll come to my desk first. And I'll just move the card out of the way. I'm going to bring in my mat. Oh, excuse me, I was thirsty. At Creative right, Apple Lover 53, yeah, has helped me, brilliant. So I'm just taking the plastic cover. I know you can't see the whole of my mat. So this is my piece of UK A4 card. This is Stampin' Up! Basic thick white cardstock for anybody that is interested. I'm just going to line it up in the corner, and I've got it in the portrait orientation. Okay, and I'm just going to rub it down. So this was why I chose the base card to be 8 inches, because like I say, this is 8 1/4, and you don't even need to make the base card in Canvas Workspace. You could just cut a piece of card in half and score it and fold it, but I just thought I'd show you how I did both elements to the card that I showed you at the beginning. So for anybody that came in late, this is what I'm showing you how to make, and it's just got a little stamped image dangling in mine. So if you were late and you were wondering, now hopefully you should be able to see this is what we are working to achieve. So let's get this into the machine. So I'm just going to swap you over to the ScanNCut machine, which has now gone to sleep. So I need to wake it up and load this mat. Okay, so you should all be seeing my ScanNCut screen. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit for you. So I'm going to go to retrieve data, because obviously I've just sent my file over wirelessly. I sent it over from Canvas, so I'm going to select the computer with the Wi-Fi icon, and there's my design. Now if you want to save this into your machine to use it again, you can hit the save button and save it now. I'm not going to save it for now. I'm just going to do a background scan and cut it, assemble it, and then I'll go back to the computer and we'll look at using a different shape. So I'm going to use the background scan icon, and I'm going to press start, and I'm just going to let the mat roll through. Which I'm not sure how well you can see, but no problem, Face, take care. So for US/Canada cardstock, you could make the height 5 instead of 5.5 to have a bit more room for cutting. Yeah, you could make yours for yours is 8.5 by 11, isn't it? So you could make your base card 8 1/4 by 5, which would then, when you fold that in half, would give you a card that's 4 1/8 by 5. Or you could make it 8 by 5, so it will be a 4 by 5. You just kind of adjust it accordingly. As I say, the only reason I made mine 8 was because I've only got 8 1/4 to play with. So I can see the design. I'm going to go into edit, and I'm going to go into the magnifying glass, and I'm just going to move the card over because I can see it's just barely on the edge here. So I'm just going to use these arrows and just move this over until it gets I'm moving the wrong one. Like I say, because I've only literally got 1/4 inch to play with. And then I'm just going to come down, and this one looks okay. So if I zoom in to 400%, I can see the mat. I can see where my white piece of card is here, so it looks as though it's all, oh no, I don't want to do that, I've moved it down. Move it back up, sorry, press the wrong arrows. Okay, I think that's right. Now this is the one I want to use, so let's just make sure that everything is going to fit on. I'm going to select this and move this one up a bit. And then I'm going to use these arrows and just make sure that everything is fitting on this card. So I can move that one up a bit more. So I'm just going to hit this arrow now. Just want to make sure that I've got enough room to cut both. And then I'm going to say OK, because I think it looks OK. Everything looks as though it's going to cut. So now I'm going to say OK, OK. I think there's enough room in between those two. And select cut. Because I look at this from a side-on angle, so I can't see that great when I'm showing you how to do it. And I'll come back in a minute because I'm sure I've probably missed loads of questions or comments. So let's get this cut in. So I'm going to press start. And we'll just leave that cutting. Just make sure I've got this rubbed down on my mat, okay. Okay, so that's cutting okay, so let me come back now. So what we're saying, Alison's saying, when I'm quiet, I'm concentrating. Jim wishes I'd concentrate more. I love the card and the paper. Unfortunately, it's unavailable now. I hope it comes back, but I'm not optimistic. The Donna Joe, do you mean the artistically inked? It's new to the catalogue, so it should be available again. I have to go, so we'll catch the replay and try it later. Caroline saying that's fine. Rachel saying I'm quiet as I'm watching and eating birthday cake. Diet not happening today. Oh, Rachel, when's your birthday? Centre line, top of heart moved. Did it? Right, okay, well, I might have to cut that piece again then. Can't actually see at the moment because it's cutting away. So when I use the wrong alignment, is that what you mean, Lynn? Did I move it? Okay, sorry, I have to go. Catch next week. Oh yeah, it must. No, I didn't group it, I don't think. The speed of the dotted lines on the SDX, it's twice the speed of the CM machine. Okay, so what I'm going to do, it's just doing the 2 half-inch lines at the minute. So when it gets to the bottom, I'm going to hit pause and just see if I can go back and have a look. Or should I leave it? Let's see what we can do. Right, I'm going to hit pause. Let me think. If I quit cutting, or should I carry on? How much did it move? Did it move a lot? Let's see. Let's quit cutting and see what happens. The carriage will move. Oh yes, I can see it's moved. Right, okay, let's see. Let's go back. Right, let me move you. Right, let's see if we can do a bit of manoeuvring. So we'll go to edit and I'll try, and there we go. So if I zoom in, it's these arrows, I get confused which ones to press. So yeah, it needs to move over, doesn't it? So let's see if we can scoot it over. And we might be able to save it. Yeah, the dotted line adds so much time to a project. I wish Brother would just make a scoring wheel. Or yeah, I know what you mean. Right, so let's say okay, because I think I've got that roughly where I need it. So what I'll do, I know what we'll do. I will select that and hit delete because we've cut that bit. I will, that's the outer box. If we delete that, yeah. So what we're left with now is the heart and the 2 dash lines. So I think we can just carry on and just cut this element now, and hopefully it'll work out. So I'm going to say OK, OK, select cut. And because I've deleted everything else, it's not going to try and recut the card or the inner section. So we'll say start, and it should now just cut the 2 dash lines and the heart. So hopefully we can salvage it. Has Rachel told us when it's her birthday? Well, whenever it is or was, Rachel, if you're still here, happy birthday. Okay, I think we've salvaged it. So let's come back to the desk. So I'm going to say OK to finish cutting and unload. I can't get all the mat in the camera view, so right, what we're saying, Linda Lee's saying I always cut my outside last so it does not move. I keep requesting it, but they haven't offered one yet. You can use the draw lines and an embossing tool, yeah. Didn't realise you could delete once paused. Yeah, it depends whether you've got elements of it grouped. So if you noticed, Alison, when I selected the outside of this inner piece and hit delete, it took the 2 half-inch score lines away with it because those 3 elements were grouped, but I'd not grouped the centre dash line or the heart. So yeah, there's always you know, a way around. But at the end of the day, if I'd messed up and I couldn't, you know, retrieve it, I would just, you know, move that dash line and go back and cut it. So Barbara's saying that was worth knowing, Ashley, deleting what has cut before interrupting. I did wonder if the SDX remembers. Yeah, so long as you don't unload the mat, it will always remember where it stopped. But in this particular instance, I was deleting everything anyway, so there was only left with this centre section. Right, let's get this off here. This mat is a bit sticky, so I'm just going to turn it over and peel it off just by bending the mat. So there's a heart that can be used on another project. That's my waist. So as you can see, you know, I literally only have got a tiny amount left in the width of my piece of A4 card. So let me just move these bits out of the way and move my mat out of the way. And I'm just going to bring in my bone folder. So just burnish the edges. So I've got my fold line in the middle, hopefully, unless I move that as well. So that's my base card, 4 by 5.5. And then this is the middle piece with the 3 score lines. So I'm just going to fold on the score line and burnish with my bone folder. And this is the bit that's going to sit in the middle. So obviously what you could also do while you were in Canvas Workspace, if you wanted to, you could make an inward matting layer, you know, for this element. The 2 bits of card or designer series paper that you can see here in pink, these are 5 1/4 by 1 3/4, and I just cut those with my paper trimmer. So now we need to position this in here. So I'm going to fold over one of the flaps, and any glue at all of preference. Wet glue would give you a little bit of wiggle room, but you would have to hold it in place. I'm going to be using Stampin' Seal Plus for this. So this is a dry runner adhesive, but it's the extra strong one. So normally I use the Stampin' Seal, which is in the pale blue cassette cartridge. But for this one, I'm going to use the one that's in the dark blue, which is the Seal Plus, and this is like really, really strong. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the flap. And then the way that I did mine, I brought my card in. You can see where the middle is of your fold. So I positioned this fold over this fold, and the way I did mine, I put my fingers on the edge here so I know that it's lining up edge to edge. I've only got glue on one flap, so I can then position that down. So that's that one in position, and then just give this a bit more of a burnish and just put, oh, that's the other thing with Seal Plus. It is very strong and it can tear your card, so you just have to be careful. So let me just get rid of that. And you need a very light stroke with Seal Plus, like so. I think I was just a little bit heavy-handed there. So now I can fold this down, and then that's the other thing, Seal Plus is very, very sticky and my fingers are sticking to it. So the easiest way to do this is how I did it. I folded it over, and then I brought the card over onto it and pressed it down, and then just pop that back out. So your card will fold up, and obviously this is 2 thick layers of cardstock, so you know you are going to need to burnish it quite heavily, and then when you open it you've got your heart. So here's the one that I made earlier today with the circle, and here's the one with the heart. Now if you're going to put something to dangle in it, before you stick one side down and then leave it folded open, and then put your dangle in so you can stick it on the back, and then stick your other side. And then obviously you could decorate the front however you want. So let's see what I'm missing. Right, I know I've missed loads of comments, but I think you're talking amongst yourself, aren't you? So I know people who have got ScanNCuts and sold their Cricut because they didn't need it anymore. I think it just depends on if people know all the things they can do with all the machines. The purple one is the air erase and the blue one is water. Okay, so you're talking about the pens, okay. Great seeing how to fix the dotted line without going back to the computer. Would I find this pen on Amazon? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Ted. I've obviously missed something, but Vicky's answering you, so hopefully you'll get sorted. Ted, it's a sewing pen used for fabric marking originally. Are those fabric pens which come with the machine? So when I got all my machines, I got the 6 little coloured pens and the 2 fabric pens, which I think is what you're talking about, the air erasable and water erasable pens. So these are mine. So the blue is air erasable, is water erasable. The purple is air erasable. So you don't use these for card making because, well, you don't use the purple one specifically for card making because it will disappear over time. What else are we saying? But I did get mine. I got the, in fact, let me get them out. Oh, my mat's just fallen right behind my desk now, so I don't think I can cut anything. But we'll go back to Canvas Workspace. So let's see. These are the 6 coloured pens that you use for your card making or drawing or scrapbooking, and these are the fabric pens. And I got these with my SDX, and I also got them with my CM900 and my CM600. But, and I do know, you know, in some markets you don't always get the same that we get in the UK. So I'm going to put those back in there, and then I'm going to go back to Canvas Workspace and just show you how to swap out your shapes. So is everybody okay with what I've done so far? Let me just see if I can retrieve my mat while I'm waiting. I'm just going to have to crawl under my desk, guys. So just bear with me. Got it, because my mat had fallen down behind my desk, but it was propped up against the wall and I didn't want it to fall onto the floor because obviously, you know, if there's any dust or anything down there, it's going to take all the sticky off my mat. So Linda's saying, learned a lot today, thank you. Go for sewing ones. They're normal pen size, not minis. Okay, so I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Obviously, there's some other conversation going on. Just don't use the air erasable pen on greeting card by mistake. By the time the card arrives, it's empty. Yeah, somebody did that, didn't they? Was it Ellen or somebody? I can't remember. Somebody used the purple pen and then wondered why when they came down the next day that the greeting had disappeared. Charlotte's saying, perfect, Ashley, brain is spinning with ideas. Never got those, no worries, I'll search for them. Create and Craft sell them, and I think Maker's Superstore sell them, and you could probably get them on Amazon depending on where you are. They're just the basic standard pens that go with any ScanNCut machine. And you can use them in any model, any CM model or any SDX model. Hi Leslie, made it this week, cooking whilst watching. Oh, well, you're welcome, Leslie. Right, I'm going to jump back to my other desk. So again, you're just going to have to bear with me, guys, while I move everything over on onto my other desk. I love those small pens with the SDX. Wanted some more, but makers don't sell them. Any ideas where I can get more? Okay. What, do they just not, are they not selling them at all, or are they just out of stock? I don't think they've been discontinued. I think they're pretty much the staple pen for the ScanNCut machine that goes with that little housing. So maybe they've just not got them in stock, Heather, at the moment. I'm not sure. Right, I'm just going to move over my desk. So I need to bring everything over to my other desk now. So right, I'm back on my computer desk now. Laurie's saying great tutorial, thank you. Right, so remember how we saved the 2 files earlier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close this. Oh, you can't see, can you? Hang on, let's go back. Right, you should be able to see my Canvas Workspace again now. Ted's saying, oh, just looked again and I did get them. Okay, I used them on my rainbows and the words disappeared. I thought it was Ellen, I thought it was, because I'm sure we had the conversation. Just check my purple air erase Madeira Magic Pen fits my standard pen holder. Excuse me. Right, can somebody just tell me that you can see my... Oh yeah, I can see it now. You should be able to see my Canvas workspace. Right, I'm going to close down this file that I've just made because obviously before I sent it over to the machine to cut it, I saved it. Rachel's saying yes, can see. Okay, so let's just close that down. So on my desktop now, I've got the Canvas workspace project file and I've got the FCM file. Okay, so if I open up the Heart pop-out workspace file, the one that you've just seen me make and save, so I'm just going to double click it. It should open now in Canvas workspace for computer. We're back to the map, great. So let's close all this down, and here is the file that we've made. So once you've made this and you've saved it, everyone's saying we're back. Heading for lunch, Ashley. Thank you so much for your tutorials. Have a blessed day, everyone. Yes, take care, Ted. So once you've got this saved, what we can now do is we can swap out the middle bit. So all the hard work's been done for us, you know, the first time we made it. So let's just say now we wanted to use one of the polygons. We can bring in a polygon, we can come to the edit icon. Again, I'm going to make it 2.5 inches wide because that seems to fit best with this size card. And then we can select the heart and we can move the heart out of the way. If we group all this together so that all the dash lines all don't end up in the middle in a few minutes. So if we just drag an imaginary box around the rectangle and all these dash lines and right click and make that a group, we can then bring this in, select this group and this polygon now, and we can center that in the middle. And then all we have to do is select the box, right click and ungroup, and then you can see that this dash line is extending into this polygon. And if you didn't want that to happen, if you wanted to be able to use this shape on another card without it having a dash line in, if you come to your layers panel and find that line, you can then just scoot it up a bit and make it shorter so it fits. So you could swap out the center for any shape you want and just keep using the same base card, the same inner section, and swap out your middle bits. What's going on? Don't like to say the C word, but these would look lovely with a dangling tree in a star. Yeah, definitely. Or an oval, something that would give you more room. But yeah, or I mean, you know, you don't have to use 2.5. I just found that 2.5 fit nice, but hang on, let me just get the card again. Right, let me just swap you back to my overhead view 1 minute. And I'll show you what I mean. So because this middle section was 2.5 inches wide and this middle section of the actual pop out is 4, you've got this gap on either side. You've got more than enough room in height, so an oval would be good. You could have a nice big oval and have a Christmas tree dangling in it. But if you're going to dangle something in it, you've got to be mindful of the size of the opening for something that's going to fit in. So like my little flower, this flower was just sat on my desk. I have like a basket on my desk, and when I've been making projects, any bits that are left over I throw in that basket. So this flower and this leaf were just sat in that basket, so that's why I use that. But again, this is a 2.5 inch circle and that sits in the middle. So you can go, you know, a bit wider on the width of your aperture. You can certainly go higher, but that's just something to be mindful of. And as I say, the reason I chose 2.5 was because this middle section is 4. It was 5 overall, if you remember, but we've got the 1/2 inch score line, which are our glue flaps. So that leaves us with 4 inches. So I just thought 2.5 would, you know, would be a decent size. Okay, so let me come back to Canvas Workspace. So you can see that once you've made your base card and once you've made your inner section, if you save it as a Canvas Workspace project file, you can always come back to it and swap out your middle bits, and you could change it for anything you want. So, you know, you might want to put, say, one of these stars in it. So let's come back to the edit icon and let's make this 2.5, and you could pop that in the middle and have, you know, like a star cut out. Right, let's see what we're saying. Rachel's saying, Barbara, I've started. Oh no, you've started your Christmas projects already. Is that what you mean? Barbara Hearty, it's okay. My local demo is doing a C word in July class. Lovely idea. How about dangling several small circles in a tree as ornaments? Yeah, and you don't have to use one shape. You could have, you know, 2 circles in here. I just was making it simple, you know, just putting a simple aperture, but you could have a circle and then you could have a piece of card, you know, an element of your card here, and then you could have another circle. So it just play with it. It's that time really, and this live has just got me thinking. Vicky, isn't Christmas crafting starting already in the UK? Seems like it starts in June. I heard on the radio today 181 days to Christmas. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. Barbara Hearty and Vicky, what does C stand for? It stands for Christmas. One of my favourite YouTubers is doing C in July. She's doing 45 videos. Oh my days. I mean, hasn't it started, lol? Can't type today. Haha, pretty. Jingle bells. Yeah. So, was that helpful? Patty's saying, oh, got it. I agree. Don't want to think about it. Yeah, I know. Me too, Patty. But you can see, you know, if you, as I say, make your, you know, if you want to make your base card as well in Canvas Workspace, make your base card so that it will fit, you know, on your piece of A4 cardstock. Make your inner section and swap out your cutouts, or like I say, don't put one in the middle, put, you know, a circle and another circle, something like that. There's all sorts you can do. Not the countdown already. I know. Yes, very helpful. Oh no, I'm still waiting for some. Me too. Yes, definitely. Rita's saying very helpful. Lovely card, Ashley. Thank you for sharing. Yes, thank you. It's great. Okay. Any questions before we wind up? Yes, very helpful. Triggering all kinds of ideas. So let's see if we made a smaller circle. We could put like a circle there, and then we could have another circle down here. I'm not going to line these up, I'm just doing this by eye, but you could have like 2 circles with a piece of, you know, card in the middle, and you've got like 2 apertures then. I love the card, Donna's saying. Oh, well, thank you. I'm just looking at my notes to see if there's anything that I need to oh yeah, that was something I was going to say. You know, like when I'm making an aperture, normally I put like, say, a circle on top of a square, and I select them both and I use subtract. Don't use subtract for this, because once you've subtracted, you can't swap out your apertures. So just, you know, use your apertures and position them, but don't actually physically subtract them. You don't need to for something like this. The inner section could be made wider to accommodate a larger aperture. Yes, you could. You could make it wider. Hang on, let me go back to the card again. Because, like I say, when it's stuck in the middle, the left and right hand panel are 1 3/4 inches wide. So you could make this bit wider than 5 inches and you just have less inside edge. I just, as I say, chose to do mine at 4 inches because my base card was 4 inches wide and I wanted to have that bit of a panel on either side that I could just put a bit of decorative paper. You could always just leave one of the panels plain, and that would be where you could, you know, maybe write or stamp your greeting, or you could write or stamp your greeting on the back of the card. So there's all sorts of options. Lovely card, Ashley. Thank you. Thank you again, Ashley. Stay safe and well, everybody. Oh no, not the C word, rather mate Vulcan. Pretty Aperture tunnel cards. Oh dear, I know I'm still waiting for summer. I don't want Christmas yet. Have you done a shutter card tutorial? I think it would be similar to this. I'm not sure what a shutter card is, Bernie. 2 circles would be great for 2 kids, or sentiments in a picture. Yeah, very well explained, Ashley. Don't forget folks to like, Ashley. Thumbs up, you. Oh, thank you. Creative Concept Crasslet. As long as it is narrower than the width of the folded base card. Yeah, it just depends how much you might you know, you might want it to cover the, you know, leave you very little gap on either side. Just play about with it. If you've got any old paper or old cardstock, that's generally what I use when I'm designing something and I'm cutting projects to see if they work. Having said that, this one was so simple. I literally just cut that circle one earlier today. I didn't do like a dummy run on it. I just put a piece of card on the mat and cut it, and it worked. It was fine. But yeah, just play about with it. Done, Alison. So glad I was able to watch tonight. Thank you so much for the demo. We'll be trying this. Yeah, have a go, Leslie. I'm sure you'll come up with something. It could be almost the same width, Vicky. Yeah, it could. And it would give you more room for a bigger area in the middle for the aperture. Patty's saying, love this idea. I would delete the score lines before cutting. Yeah, or don't put them in at all. You could put, you know, the 1/2 inch score lines in using your paper trimmer with a scoring blade, or your Simply scoreboard. I just thought, I don't often do projects that have score, you know, dashed fold lines. So I just thought I'd put them in for this project and show you. But you might, you know, you just might not even want to put them in. Right, what we're saying, love this idea. You could hand birthday number 21 Aperture. Is that meant to say you could hang a birthday number 21? Yeah, thanks for your time. Yeah, Rachel, you're welcome. After cutting out a template on copy paper. Another great tutorial. Thanks again for your time, Ashley. Take care, stay safe. Yeah, for a future idea, I'm wanting to duplicate a card with 2 sides that fold towards the centre and 2 shapes that are only cut halfway, overlap and lock together. I think I've already done that, Vicky, a long time ago. I know I've definitely done, I think they call it like a gatefold card, don't they? I know I've definitely done a gatefold card where there was a heart cut out of the middle, kind of each half. But I thought I'd done one the other way where you leave it. I'll have a look, Vicky. I think I have, you know. I'm sure there's something on my channel. If you, in the search box, Vicky, if you type in gatefold and see if anything comes up. but I could always probably have a look at it. It's probably a very old video, maybe do a refresher. Bernie's saying, thanks Ashley, great tutorial. Sorry, hang, I meant, yeah, I thought you did. Thank you everyone for the birthday wishes. Yeah, have a lovely rest of your birthday if it was today, Rachel. I think I missed when it was. Thank you, Ashley, as usual, great time with you and all our fellow crafters. You're welcome, Alison. So that's me, Rachel and Hannah, all within the space of a week of each other. I've got a birthday. Heather, as always, so helpful. Like others, buzzing with ideas. First time ever was watching on TV with Canvas open on my laptop and doing with you. Success. Oh, brilliant. Well done, Heather. You have to pay attention to where the dangle fits when the card is folded. Yes, you do. That's why mine didn't dangle very far. That's what I was saying before. Whatever your dangly bit is, it's got to be smaller than that aperture. So my aperture was 2.5 inches, and that rose, I think, is probably somewhere between 1 3/4 and 2 inches. So yeah, you do have to be careful of what size aperture you use for what you're going to dangle in it. But you know, you've all got the concept now, so you can all play around with it and see what you can all come up with. Sue's saying, thanks Ashley, stay safe. Yes, same to you. I did a 3D dangle in one of my designs, Vicky. Yeah, the other thing you could do is, my flower, if I had a mirror image of it, I could stick one of those on the back, and then when it turns, you'll see like both sides. Happy birthday to you and Hannah. Yeah, thank you. How is Hannah? Hope she's okay. Yeah, we're still trying to find time to go and see the specialist. She's spoken to him, but again, she's away again today. It's county week. I'm not going until Monday night, ready for Tuesday and Wednesday, so that's why I'm here today. But they're over in Hinckley, so it's Derbyshire Ladies County Week. So there's 4 counties, I think it is, or 5 counties that all play each other. So she's gone over there today. So she's struggling for time at the moment. It's settled down a bit. She's managing it a bit. She thinks it's possibly dairy. So she's trying to stay away from all dairy, which is a pain because she loves things like eggs and cheese. So we're trying to find dairy-free alternatives. So she's basically just kind of trying to manage it at the moment, but as soon as we can find some time, I've got a specialist lined up for her to see, and then we'll hopefully try and get to the bottom of it. So thanks for asking. Yeah, Vicky, I think I probably called it some kind of a gatefold. So just on the home page of the channel here on YouTube, where the little magnifying glass is, type gatefold and see if anything comes up. And then tomorrow, if I get some time, I'll go and have a look as well and see if there is anything. But I have a feeling it will be a very old video. So it's probably something we can, you know, or I can play around with, and then we'll try and cover in another Sunday live maybe. Right, what's Donna saying? I just counted my leftover cards I made for Christmas last year, 38 now. Just need to embellish them. So at least you've got a head start. Shows us what we can make on Ashley's forum. Yeah, if you make anything, post it on the forum. There's a Your Project section. Go and post it there so I can see if you've had a go or what you've come up with. Mary's saying, another great demo, Ashley. Take care and stay safe. Yes, same to you. Linda's saying thank you. Ellen's saying thank you. Have a nice week. Lactose intolerance. Yeah, she's they've said it's not celiac and they've said it's not Crohn's. So she's been staying free from like all lactose stuff, but she was still being ill. So she thinks it's dairy. So she's trying to, as much as possible, stay clear of everything, but then it leaves you very limited to what you can eat. So I've got like dairy-free butter for her so that she can have, at least she can have toast with that on. We went for a pizza one day in the week and they did dairy-free cheese. So she's trying to just kind of cut dairy out as much as possible until we can actually get to the actual bottom of it and see what it really is. But it's finding the time because, you know, we're away at the beginning of every week, usually from a Sunday. That's why I've missed a few of these, because she plays in these pro events. But this week, as I say, it's county week. She's back. I don't think she's back until Friday. And then she's got things lined up again competition-wise for the following week. So we're struggling to get her in to see this person, but at least we've found somebody now. She's had a chat to him, and then it's just a case of trying to go and have a bit of a consultation, and then she'll probably have to have some tests. But we'll get to the bottom of it. But she's, at the moment, she's managing it, which is, you know, something. She's not in as much pain as she was and struggling like she was, you know, a couple of weeks ago. Right, Maria's saying bye all, have to go now, thanks. Yeah, sorry to have taken up everybody's time. Been great, thank you. Poor girl, no ice cream, I know. And I've just got her a gluten-free, dairy-free and wheat-free birthday cake to take with me when I go tomorrow. Oh, I don't know, mad. If it's lactose intolerance, there is an enzyme pill that she can take and still eat some dairy. Okay, that's interesting. Like I say, we don't exactly know which one or if it's both. So we need to actually have it diagnosed properly. And then, but that's good to know, Vicky. And then we can hopefully try and get to the bottom of it. So Bernie's saying, oh shoot, there's a new DNA company that tells you all the food you're allergic to, but I can't. Yeah, she's done that, Bernie, and she's got a whole list. I mean, she has a nut allergy anyway. She's allergic to all nuts, and a lot of the problem is with like, is it vegan or lactose intolerance? They use nut, so instead of flour, it's generally, you know, ground nut. So that's an absolute nightmare for Hannah anyway, because if you tend to go and ask for something, like if you go to a cake shop and ask for something vegan, it's packed with nuts, so that's no good for her. So like I say, we'll get to the bottom of it. At least she'll get cake. Yeah, don't know what it's going to taste like, flipping dairy free, wheat free and whatever else free, like, oh, anyway, but she's got a cake, so she will get it sorted, Anita, but thank you. She can't have almond milk, Anita, because she's allergic to nuts. So she's been having, when she makes porridge, she's been using oat milk. That dairy is hidden in so much stuff. I didn't realise, if you look at the packets, it's only since she's been struggling, you know, these last few months. When you start looking at the ingredients on the packets of all the food, you'd be surprised what dairy is hidden in the list of ingredients. It's a minefield, it really is. Thank you, Donna. Celiac, yeah, she's had a test for that and they say she's not celiac, and she's had a test for Crohn's and they say she's not Crohn's either. So the doctors have literally just wiped their hands of it and they're just saying it's IBS, which, you know, the symptoms she gets, yes, but what's the cause? And that's what we've got to find out. It's so difficult to deal with. I mean, literally for weeks she's been eating like porridge made with oat milk for a breakfast. She's been eating like plain boiled rice with plain chicken and plain carrots. And she loves broccoli, and they've told her not to eat broccoli because that's not good for you if you've got like bloated stomach. The food has been awful for her. It's been so plain and bland. So then I said, well, instead of trying to cut everything out, try one thing. And then she ate dairy and was ill. So she said, right, okay, I think it might be dairy. So we went for a pizza in the week, and she had a regular pizza base, but with you know, dairy-free cheese, and she didn't react. So it's just so difficult, but we'll get there in the end. No, almond milk's no good for somebody with a nut allergy. Oh dear. I like oat milk, very soothing. I had a taste of her porridge that she made with it a couple of weeks ago, and actually it was okay. So Donna's saying happy birthday to you both. Oh, thank you. Well, mine's gone now, as I say. Mine was Thursday. Hannah's is this Wednesday. So I've got everything packed and ready to take with me, along with this blessed cake. So at least we can sit and eat dairy-free cake. Oh dear. I don't know. Bernie's saying doctors did the same to me, can't figure out, so we'll label you with IBS. That's what they tend to do. And they've literally just wiped the hands of her, which is awful. And especially now with COVID, doctors are just not seeing anybody. Hannah's physio was saying to me that basically there's so much red tape involved with a doctor seeing you at the moment that they're just trying their best not to see you. So I know it's a pain. I mean, I've had IBS all my life, on and off, but not as bad as Hannah's got it. And I never know what triggers mine, to be fair. I think with me, it can be maybe too much of the same type of thing. Because I can eat one thing one day and it'd be fine, and then I can eat it a few weeks later and I can be poorly with it, so I'm not sure. But I mean, Hannah suffers badly, really badly with it. So Alice is saying she thinks it's starch and white flour. We see that's another thing. Hannah cut out white bread and went to brown bread, but brown bread made her ill. And then another friend of ours said that she's had similar kind of symptoms all her life, and she was told not to eat anything brown, so no brown rice, no brown bread. So it just is a minefield, it really is. So yeah, Alison is still waiting to see the consultant. We're all just a bunch of crocs, aren't we? Really are. But you've been suffering, haven't you, Alison? And it is a pain. You just can't get to see anybody at all at the moment. It really is bad. Anyway, I'm going to go because my iPad is literally down to about 15%. So I don't want this to just die in the middle of us all. So I'm going to say goodbye. Like I say, hopefully I'll be going over for a few days now to go and watch Hannah play. It's awful, Alison, because she just gets attacked. You know, she can get an attack when she's on a golf course. Like she got the attack the other week before she went out and thought she'd be okay, and we had to leave the golf course. And, you know, when you need to run to a toilet and you're in the middle of a golf course, it's not that easy. So it's something that needs to definitely try and be sorted and to be managed. But as I say, at the moment, it's she's managing it as best she can. Right, I'm going. It's like 20 to 7 and I've been on since 5 o'clock. So I'm going to say goodbye. Stay safe, everybody. Hopefully I'll see you all next Sunday. If for any reason I'm not going to be able to make it, I'll post a message on the YouTube community board. So if you're subscribed with your notifications on, you'll get any notification that I post on there. But hopefully, all being well and fingers crossed, I'll be here next Sunday. Yes, Charlotte, thank you. Yes, thank you, Anita. Same to you. Same to you, Alison. I know it's a nightmare. Right, I'm going to go. I'm going to end the live and I'll speak